Good morning. So we have officially begun.
Woo.
So officially begun.
Woo, woo, woo. Yes.
Welcome to our Westside Transform Summit. Welcome to our last summit of 2023. If you got here a little earlier, you were treated to some Christmas music. We had to look far and wide for a musician to do that, so we're happy that Dan, play a little trumpet for us. But I'm John Ahmann. For those that are with us for the first time, I lead the Westside Future Fund. Westside Future Fund is delighted to host the Transform Westside Summit. And should note that right now we are live on our social media feeds. And so you can see some cameras about the room, but we're live up on YouTube and Facebook. And when we finish this Transform Westside Summit, if you want to go back and look at it, it'll be immediately available when we finish the Transform Westside Summit. And I'm really excited. I'm here with my co-host, Ebony.
Hi.
Good morning, Ebony.
John, good morning. How y'all feeling this morning? Y'all looking good. Y'all looking good. Appreciate y'all being here. As John said, my name is Ebony Ford. I am a very proud English Avenue resident right here on the West Side. I'm a very proud Hollis Innovation Academy parent. And I am a director at Quest CDC. Again, all here on the West Side, best side. Good seeing y'all. Hey, exactly. Yes. John?
No, thank you. So I always like to start just by recognizing those who are here for their first time. So if you're here for your first time, and nothing's going to happen to you if you raise your hand, if you would raise your hand, all right, we want to welcome everyone here for their first time. Thank you for being here.
Yes.
As you'll see as we go throughout the program, a big part of the why of our Transform Westside Summits is to build community. Mm-hmm. And so by having new people join, it helps us to do that. But to give you an overview of what's going to happen this morning, and we'll finish everything up by 9 o'clock, but we're going to transition in just a second to a devotion from Reverend Guidry, the Dean of Sisters Chapel of Spelman College. So thank you for being here this morning. And then once we finish the devotion, for those that are new, one way we build community is taking the time to do self-introductions. So we'll ask everyone to give their name and affiliation. We'll move around the room. Ebony will do that. And then I'm really excited, and I know we'll have more people joining us, but we have a very special guest, one of America's most notable Fortune 500 executives, Roz Brewer. Thank you for being here. And so we'll have a little Q&A that I'll start with Roz, and then we'll open up to the audience, and then we'll end with a couple of drawings. And so we got an exciting program here for you this morning. And I know that you want to go through some other things
Absolutely.
Real quick.
I certainly would. We would also like to invite you all to subscribe to our monthly Impact newsletter. I guess, John, you're kind of in the way, but they could probably scan
right.
that.
Staying in front of it.
If you want, it's huge, but it actually does work, I believe. And also, you can go to our website, westsidefuturefund.org, to subscribe to that. We would also like to invite you all to stay connected with us. There's a lot of good information that we have here at the summits, but we need the help from you guys to get it disseminated, okay? So please interact with us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. If you are watching live on YouTube, please go ahead and subscribe to our channel. There you go. There's all our handles. Also, as John mentioned a little bit earlier, we do have a giveaway today, okay? This is a fun place. We don't just give information. We give out prizes, okay? So if you did not grab your red and your blue ticket when you walked in, please do not forget, go back to the table that you passed on the way in and get both tickets for a Home Depot Foundation prize or either a Goodwill Up North Georgia gift card, okay? And some people have won both. So you could actually win both cards. So I promise you it's a really, really good drawing. Make sure you do not miss out on that. John?
All right, no, thank you. So we're now going to transition to our devotion. We do, for those that are first timers, we do the devotion for every Transform Westside Summit. We ask for different speakers from the community to be our devotion speaker. We draw inspiration for our devotion from the lessons of Nehemiah in the Old Testament. So the metaphor of rebuilding Jerusalem as a guide to thinking about our transformation work on the West Side. But I'm going to read a statement because we like to level set every devotion and both be posted, and I'm going to read it just to level set before we begin our devotion. It's become our tradition to begin our meetings with a positive, inspirational message from a member of our community, recognizing that many in our community are driven by their spiritual faith to participate in the Westside revitalization effort. The time at the beginning of our meetings is an opportunity to share various inspirational reflections. While the speakers might articulate their personal faith, it's meant to be inclusive, inspiring, and meaningful, with the story of Nehemiah as our guide. And we're very fortunate this morning to have Reverend Guidry as our devotion speaker. She's the Dean of the Sisters Chapel at Spelman College. Yeah. Her calling is to inspire and uplift Black women against the backdrop of systemic social and cultural anti-Blackness. And she's an avid reader and fierce advocate of historically Black colleges and universities, and a lover of African American people, history, and culture, and appreciating what an enormous difference that Spelman has made, not only to our West Side, but to our country. So we welcome you to lead in our devotion this morning. So I'm going to come on down while you come on up. Thank you.
Well, good morning. So good to be with you all today. Thank you, John. Thank you, Ebony. Thank you also to our speaker for this morning, who's Roz Brewer, who actually invited me this morning. If I sound a little bit winded, it's because I'm at almost 32 weeks. And so I'm sharing oxygen. But to ground us for this morning, I'm remembering Nehemiah. And I'm remembering that at the very beginning of the book, it says that he's a cupbearer to the king in the province where his people had become displaced and were living under occupation. And he's disrupted in this position that he's in when he hears from his brothers. And he asks them about who remained in Jerusalem, his community, his people. He checked in, even though he had sort of found his way into this comfortable position, this good government job, if you will. He inquired, how are the people? How's my family? How's the community? How's the city? And his brothers give him a destitute report. And it's at that point that we begin to see that Nehemiah's heart was so interconnected with his people, even across that distance, so interconnected with their struggle, so interconnected with all the systemic and cultural and political and economic and religious oppression that they were still undergoing in the city, that he became so burdened that his countenance, his face became downtrodden, and the king asked, "What's wrong?" And when he responds, he says, "I am disturbed by what I've heard about my community." And he seeks permission to go back and survey the land and survey the community. He obtains all his permissions, gets all his paperwork together so he can have safe passage back to Jerusalem. And he's rebuilding the wall. First of all, we see that when he goes back to rebuild this wall, the first thing he has to do is he has to rebuild the people. As after everything that they've been through, they needed someone to gather them together, to place them on one accord, and to give them a renewed sense of mission and call, purpose, and identity. And so by the time we get to the story of Nehemiah rebuilding the wall, we see that the wall is just a symbol of a bigger project. We've got to rebuild our community. We've got to rebuild our sense of togetherness. We've got to rebuild our sense of our connectedness to God. We've got to rebuild one another. And we see that in accepting this call to rebuild the wall of Jerusalem, Nehemiah, he goes from being a cupbearer to the king to being an organizer of his community. He goes to being a community organizer. He goes to being a project manager. He goes to being all these various roles that uncovered all these skills and capacities that Nehemiah may have never known that he had. And we see that when it came time for the wall to almost be completed, that no one really believed that he was going to do it. And he begins to be taunted by some leaders from the occupied territory who begin to make up all these like superfluous lies about him and even like lying to his face about himself, right? It's such a fascinating story. And what he says in response is something that will always lay on my heart as sort of a motto for those of us who are focused on fixing our communities. He says, I am doing a great work and I cannot come down. I'm doing a great work and I cannot come down. He actually also gets a little bit petty with them, like, who am I to come down to your level while I'm doing what I know is a holy work? And so with Nehemiah's response to his detractors and his distractions in mind, I just want to invite us to ground ourselves in a similar ethic of dedication and focus and commitment to whatever the wall is, to whatever the community is, whatever the vision is that we have been called to rebuild. Amen? Amen. So let's take a nice deep breath in. We'll do that one more time. And I just want to affirm that indeed all of us are called to a great work, and we cannot come down. As we live through these perilous, tumultuous, and death-dealing times, God has called each of us to be agents of light and restoration and courage. And when it would be easier to come down, and when it would be easier to become scattered in our focus and in our intentions, what does it mean to stay on the wall? So I'll open us in a word of prayer. God, thank you for this day. Thank you for this opportunity to gather together as folks with a shared sense of mission and call and excitement for the work of rebuilding. As we move throughout the day, we thank you that we are now here with open hearts, open ears, and open minds so that we can hear what it is that the Spirit would have us to hear today. The instruction, the wisdom, the inspiration, the guidance, so that we can remain on the wall, in the space, in the community, and not come down and not give up and not turn aside. Continue to mold our hearts into hearts of courage and hearts of fire. Help us, like Nehemiah, not to become so subsumed in our comforts that we cannot be moved by the pain of other people. And so in this moment, we gather ourselves together and we ask that you would just continue to speak to us. In all of your holy names we pray. Amen. 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 Thank you so much.
Thank you, Reverend Guidry. I appreciate you. Awesome message. And as she said, we have all been called. Every single one of us has been called. Okay, just keep that in mind. Amen? Okay, now here comes the time for you guys to take the mic and speak. Okay, so this is the self-introduction part that John spoke about a little bit earlier. Very, very important part of our program because it allows you to kind of see who's in the audience. If you hear of someone or they're with an organization that you would be interested in connecting with, this is your chance. Kind of remember where they're sitting and grab them before they leave at 9 o'clock, okay? So we are going to start right here, and we do ask so that everyone gets a chance. Say your name, who you're affiliated with, what company or organization you're affiliated with, and that's it, okay? So that everybody can get a chance, okay? I appreciate y'all. We'll start right here.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Roz Brewer, former CEO of Walgreens Boots Alliance and former head of the board of Spelman College.
Good morning, Vanessa Barnes. I'm with Novellis.
Good morning, Virginia Hepner. I serve on the board of the Westside Future Fund.
Good morning, Kathy Waller, Executive Director of the Atlanta Committee for Progress and currently on the board of Spelman College and serving with the Westside Future Fund.
Good morning. I serve on the board of the Westside Future Fund and also on the GO team of the Booker T. Washington High School.
Good morning. My name is Aisha Thomas. I'm recent former chair of Quest Community Development, and I'm also a commercial real estate attorney with AJT Law.
Good morning. My name is Dan Cathy, and I'm on the leadership team with Miss Anna Shrews.
Good morning. I'm Savannah Jordan, and I work in leadership development with Chick-fil-A.
Good morning. I'm Anna Shrews, and I get to work at Chick-fil-A.
Again, Neichelle Guidry, Dean of Chapel at Spelman College.
Good morning. I'm Carol Waddy, Director of CSR and Community Affairs with Chick-fil-A.
And I'm Ross Cathy, and I'm also with Anna Shrews Leadership.
And I'm Darrell Ashore, recent participant in the Chick-fil-A retirement plan.
Good morning, I'm Carol Williams. I too am on Anna Shrews' leadership team.
I'm Kathleen Bryant. I guess I need to meet Anna Shrews. And I'm with Partners in Change, providing free life coaches for adults pursuing goals.
Hi, good morning. Neil Shorthouse, also with Partners in Change, enabling personal, social, and economic upward mobility.
Hi, good morning. Erin Thomas, Marketing Communications Director for the American Heart Association.
Good morning. I'm Erin Stevens. I am the Development Director for American Heart Association here in Metro Atlanta.
Good morning. I'm Zach Singer, and I'm just here to listen and learn.
That's very important too. My name is Caitlin Behringer. I'm with Open Hand Atlanta.
Good morning, everyone, and Merry Christmas. I am Thelma Renault, and I am a 50-year resident just in English Avenue.
Good morning. I am Corey Bishop with Atlanta Volunteer Lawyers Foundation.
Good morning. I'm Elder Takuma Brown. I'm with the Healing Community Center.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Sandra Bush, and I'm a resident of the Booker T. Washington neighborhood.
Good morning. Happy Friday. My name is Anthony Bellows. I'm a longtime Westside resident.
Good morning. My name is Camille May. I'm a graduate of Spelman College and a Westside resident.
Good morning, everyone. Liz Loretti, Chief Development Officer at Girl Scouts of Greater Atlanta.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Tracy Bates. I'm a resident of English Avenue, and I get the opportunity to serve as president of the English Avenue Neighborhood Association, on the board of Historic Westside Gardens, and president of Historic Westside Cultural Arts Council.
Good morning, everyone. I'm Reverend Dr. Leroy Wright. I'm the pastor of First Thessalonian Missionary Baptist Church and a friend of Anthony Bellows.
Good morning. My name is Craig Summers. I'm a training and development consultant, but more importantly, a member of Bridging the Gap Ministries, which is a racial harmony men's group.
Good morning. My name is Bob Dickinson. I'm Executive Director of the Steam Sports Foundation. And since Craig brought it up, on the board for Bridging the Gap Men's Fellowship.
Good morning. Good morning. I'm Catherine Ledley, currently unaffiliated, but I'm an educator. Just moved back from Cairo, Egypt.
Okay, hard to follow that. My name is Caroline Ledley. I'm with the Southeast Region Office of AmeriCorps.
Hi, my name is L. Tika Carr, and I'm an owner of a body sculpting business called Killer Curves.
My name is Alfonso Smith, proud graduate of Booker T. Washington High School, 1978.
Good morning, Beverly Daniel Tatum, and pleased to say I'm the outgoing board chair of the Westside Future Fund, passing the baton to T. Dallas Smith, and pleased to be also the 9th past president of Spelman College.
Hi, my name is Tanya Russell. I'm a store manager for Walgreens.
Hello, my name is Kelly Wiles. I'm a store manager for Walgreens.
My name is Nicole Evans Porter. I'm a store manager for Walgreens.
I'm Evan Karanovich. I'm the chairman of the Walgreens Manager Fan Club.
Hello, Ivan Gaskin, graduate of Morehouse College, Vine City resident, also an affordable housing developer. I do that under the umbrella of Good Dirt.
Good morning. I'm Dale Ianides. I am a former instructional coach for APS, and I am now the founder and CEO of School is In, a nonprofit that serves Title I schools that do not have foundations or PTAs.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Chanel Frazier, and I'm the head of Black Rock Atlanta.
Good morning. I'm Kadira Abdurrahim. I'm head of community strategy for Black Rock Atlanta.
Good morning, everyone. My name's Dinah Claudy. No affiliation, but also here to learn.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Naila Ellis. I'm a Westside resident.
Good morning. I'm Ashley Todd. I am in development for St. Jude Children's Research Hospital, and I'm a resident of Ashview Heights.
Good morning. I'm Ivan Rouse, and I have a small business, ACIG Construction.
Good morning, Marquita Sanders, new to Georgia. I actually work with Lowe's, interested in partnering and sponsoring an organization, and here to help.
Bob Butler, Coldwell Banker Real Estate.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Kelly Lee. I'm the Director of Community Impact for the Atlanta Dream, and Dr. Tatum was my Spelman president.
Greetings, everyone. My name is Toyasha Albert. I am with Self Do You Believe, an empowerment program for girls.
Good morning. Good to see everybody. Rob Brewer. I'm the Executive Director with the Atlanta Beltline Partnership.
Hey, good morning and happy Falcons Friday. Can we get a little Falcons love in the room? Come on now. There we go. All right. That was a little lukewarm, but we'll try again later, Caroline. My name is Tolton Pace. I get the honor and the privilege of being a product of the West Side, but also serving as the Senior Program Officer with the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation, focused specifically on West Side Atlanta for our legacy residents.
Hey, good morning. I'm Caroline Houston. I'm the Director of Strategic Communications at the Arthur M. Blank Family Foundation.
Hi, my name is Archie Emerson. I am the president of the Empire Board of Realtors. I'm also the broker and owner of Dedicated Realtor Incorporated, and I'm also the broker agent to help move the legacy home properties. And I also serve as the first VP for the VA rep for Atlanta.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Claude Gallon. I'm with Atlanta Area Council, Boy Scouts of America.
Good morning. My name is Naomi Green. I am a Westside resident and also work for On Board, which is a women in leadership nonprofit.
Good morning. My name is Matthew Coleman. I'm CEO of VI Capital Lending Group, and I am the committee chair for the Real Estate and Professional Service Committee of the Atlanta Black Chambers. And this sweater is for a ugly sweater contest at noon.
Good morning. John McGee with VI Capital Lending. Also a proud resident of Grove Park and member of Atlanta Black Chamber.
Good morning, I'm Emily Wilder, a Westside resident.
You don't want to introduce the son? Okay. There is a son here. Good morning. I'm Eric Wilder. I'm with ATL Care. We collect resources on nonprofits and funding for Atlanta.
Happy holidays, everybody. I'm Shirley Coleman, Director of Development and Marketing with Sadie G. Mays Health and Rehabilitation Center, and a Spelman grad.
Good morning, Charles Merriweather, Goodwill Ambassador, where we put people to work.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Ingrid Thompson. I'm the CEO of Nehemiah Project, Community Development Corporation. We do home repairs for the city of Atlanta for low-income homeowners, and I'm also on the board of Georgia Act. Good to be here.
Good morning. My name is Tony Wimby, and I'm a board member of the Nehemiah Project.
Good morning. My name is Brian Wismer. I work for the City of Atlanta in their new Neighborhood Economic Development team.
Good morning, Britton Edwards. I am the COO of Atlanta Way 2.0. We're a new nonprofit, and we're working on some historic preservation projects on the west side.
Good morning. My name is Akeen Irish. I'm currently working on a project to bring an activation to Cook Park, so that's coming up in February. So how's everyone?
I'm the youngest thing here. Good morning, everyone. I'm a resident of over 50 years, and so I think I'm the youngest here. Good morning, everyone. My name is Hattie Pollard.
Good morning, everyone. I am Muriel Murphy, and I am a resident of the West Side.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Marion Dabney, and I'm a resident here on the West Side.
Good morning. My name is Veronica Mount. I'm president and founder of Land of Promise, and we focus on food insecurity.
Good morning. I'm Mandy Eatson with Self-Help Credit Union. We're opening a branch in the West End next year and looking to finance deals, too.
Richard Taylor, Arc Capital Partners.
Good morning. Bill Bowling from Food Well Alliance.
Hakika Bowling. I'm a retired professional school counselor, activist, and convener of circles, and married to him.
Good morning, all. I'm Myron Williams. I'm an associate professor of chemistry at Clark Atlanta University and senior advisor for the HBCU Green Fund.
Good morning. I'm Karis King, and I do community programming with the Home Depot backyard at Mercedes-Benz Stadium.
And the only person I've ever gotten from my team to come here, so okay, give it up for that. Sean Watwood. I do corporate partnerships for the Home Depot backyard at Mercedes-Benz Stadium and proud English Avenue resident.
Sorry.
Good morning. Naeem Brinkley. I'm a West Side resident.
Good morning. My name is Catherine Foster, and I am the new Chief Development Officer for Families First.
Good morning. I'm Leila Gill, a member of the Empire Board of Realtors and also NID Housing Counseling Agency.
Good morning. I am the Parent Family Engagement Liaison at Hollis Innovation Academy in the Washington Cluster, and also have a nonprofit called Divine Step that serves the family in the Washington Cluster.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Frank Morales. My wife and I are green affordable housing providers here in the West End.
Good morning, family. I'm Tillman Ward with Community Resources of Atlanta, and also lifelong resident of the historic West Side, where we are firm believers that it's never too late to be a part of something great.
We'll get the, excuse me, you guys, excuse me. We got the West Side Future Fund team back here.
Good morning, Danita Knight, President and CEO of the YWCA of Greater Atlanta, and I'm going to say it again. We're bringing back the Phyllis Wheatley West Side YWCA in 2025.
You walked in just in time.
Hello, I'm Maria Supporta with Supporta Report, and always happy to be in this room.
Did I forget anyone?
Laura Heary, focused on live-work strategies in neighborhoods.
Thank you. Anyone? Okay, well, let's give ourselves a hand. Appreciate you guys.
All right, well, thank you for taking the time to do that. For those that are new, hopefully, and those that are repeat, one of the things I really love about the self-introductions is you know, people show up and all of a sudden, hey, that's an idea I can maybe help with, or that's something I didn't realize that resource was there. So we really encourage you, if some of those thoughts occurred to you, that after our Transform Westside Summit, you know, to follow up on that, because we've learned one of the most powerful parts of the work that we're collectively doing is how we strengthen our relationships with one another. And a lot of the great work that has come out of the West Side have come out of the relationships that have been built at these Transform Westside Summits. So thank you for taking the time to go through these self-introductions. We appreciate it. And I'm now delighted that we're going to move to the next part of our program with our very special guest. And as maybe you can all welcome her as she comes on up, please. Thank you. Appreciate it. Please. So we're very excited, and also thanks to Dan and Kathy who helped facilitate this today. But a couple points. You're a Spelman college graduate, so if you're somehow affiliated, a graduate of Spelman, work at Spelman, well, let's give a big hand raise for all Spelman folks here today. We know we got a strong Spelman showing. So thank you. And I was sharing with Roz earlier that one of our best folks in our pipeline for home ownership are folks that are affiliated with Spelman. But Roz is a first-generation college student who started her career as a chemist at Kimberly-Clark. She became the only African-American woman CEO of a Fortune 500 company, Walgreens. And she has a commitment to marginalized communities through the creation of diverse and inclusive workforces, and has been a consistent theme for her in all of her leadership roles. And so we're going to talk for a few minutes and then open up to the audience. And this is a very special opportunity for us because, Roz, we know we don't do a lot of public appearances, so we're very grateful that you took the opportunity to do this with today. And to start, just to help folks learn more about you and get to know you, and do you want to share just a bit about your upbringing and the path that took you to where you are today?
Sure. So, John and everyone here, thanks for, I feel like, welcoming me back to Atlanta. I haven't, always been able to spend as much time here, but I will say that even after graduating from Spelman, I always kept residency here in the Atlanta area. So I know many of you all in the room, but I love this city, and I'm glad to be back and get grounded here. And to Dan and his team, thank you for, Dan keeps me aware of everything Atlanta that I should know. And then he also pulls my coattail on things that I'm falling short of. So I appreciate everybody needs a Dan Cathy in their life. But for me, my story is absolutely embraced in my parents and my upbringing. And I can only tell my story if I talk about George Gates and Sally Sty Gates, my parents, who are now both deceased, but they came from the Southeast. My dad from Bessemer, Alabama, my mom from Andalusia, but we ended up being raised, the five of us, me and my siblings, in Detroit, Michigan. So yes, oh really? Wow, that's cool. So the whole, idea of, what happened back, in years past is the migration to an industrialized community called Detroit, Michigan, the auto industry. And both of my parents worked in the auto industry. And they, was very fortunate for them because neither of my parents finished high school. And so 10th grade education, the both of them, my dad, run out of Bessemer for all the reasons that we know Black men couldn't really progress there, and my grandparents had to get him out of the city of Bessemer, Alabama, and he migrated through Gary, Indiana, up through Harlem, and then into Michigan, and found work and met my mom. And so I'm the youngest of 5 children. And I tell you what, my parents were unwavering on the expectations for us. And it was interesting because their expectations weren't, are you getting A's or getting B's? It was around discipline. We were the children that did not sleep past 6:30 in the morning. And my dad had this saying, he said, do you know how long the white boy's been awake, right? And so he was like, if you plan on getting ahead, you need to get up. And so we had chores every day. We had to pick a musical instrument, and we could pick a sport if we wanted to, but our family was musically inclined, so that's what we did. But my dad worked 3 jobs to raise all 5 of us because there was 4 of us in college at one time. And my mom began to work when I was 3 years old. And I always tell this story, some of you all maybe heard it, but I was probably one of the youngest latchkey kids you've ever met because I was the youngest of 5 and the rest of the kids were in school. And so when the oldest would leave in the morning, my mom was already gone to work, they propped me up in the window and I'd have to wait for my siblings to come home. So my mom actually worked the afternoon shift. So she'd leave like at 2 o'clock. So the kids wouldn't get home till 3:30. So they'd prop me up on the couch in the window and crack the curtains so that all the neighbors could walk by as they were going to work and getting off the bus and make sure that I didn't get off that couch until my older siblings came home. And I tell you what, I didn't move an inch because, that whole idea of being raised by a village, I was absolutely raised by a village. And when Miss Breedings walked by, I knew she was going to yell at me in the window, so I was just staring at the window like this until my older brothers and sisters got home and prepared dinner for me, and then my folks rolled back in from their jobs. So, that's where my discipline came from over my lifetime, was just watching my parents and watching my mom eventually having to work the midnight shift and taking the bus. 12 inches of snow in Detroit, Michigan is no joke. And so when you see that, and you're just watching it, right? I'm 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 years old, and I'm just watching it, right? And that's all I knew. Get up early, make your bed, do your chores, do your homework, help prepare meals, and that was just my lifestyle. And then once I got to Spelman College, which was probably the best decision I ever made in my entire life, was my experience at Spelman. And, for me, I was number 5 in college, 4 of us in college, and at my sophomore year, my dad looked at me and said, I'm tapped out, right? And we're tapped out. I've got, we've got a lot going on, so let's look at the community college in Detroit. Come on home, pack your stuff, sophomore year. I was like, oh, no, I can't. At that point, I had so attached to my life at Spelman. I had a new family, a new environment. I had professors that were thinking of me. At the time, we had a chaplain, Reverend Rates, who spent so much time with us, just like Dr. Guidry does, still with the students at Spelman College. And I needed that, right? I needed that, and I knew that I couldn't, leave a support system like that. I got after. I had been actually working in the community at Spelman College. So right around Spelman College, there's Carrie Stillpitt home, and Sadie Mays. We all volunteered. If we could, we would go over there and do whatever we possibly could after class was over. And there was a gentleman whose wife had passed away. His name was Charles Trevelli, and he came to Spelman and wanted to give scholarships to students that were working in the community. Didn't care about, which wasn't a thing for me at that time. And what I learned was Mr. Trevelli extended a full scholarship for me through graduation if I stayed engaged in the community. And I was already committed. And so that wasn't a hard one for me. I gladly took it because I was already there. That's all I ever knew. So my story from there is everywhere I've landed, every city I've ever worked in, and I've worked in a lot of cities, I've never not given every ounce of my extra time outside of my family to my community, even in Bentonville, Arkansas. I ran the Northwest Arkansas Community Council and wrote the 5-year strategic plan for 5 communities that they lived off of to this day, and awarded them things like airport gates and things like that. So big projects, small projects, wherever I am, all the way through to my most recent responsibility in Chicago. So I love to combine my corporate leadership with community because I am absolutely clear that these jobs cannot be done in singular focus. So, I've always tried to be that person to bring public and private together. And as my career progressed, I brought in Washington. And so I've done a lot of work on the Hill. I'm currently on 2 advisory committees for this administration, the Advisory Council for Export, and then the Advisory Council for the African Diaspora. And both of those gives me a chance to say what communities in this country can benefit other countries and vice versa in both of those entities. So the work doesn't stop for me, but that gives you an idea of my story and how I have gotten to where I am today. Now I missed one thing. I married my Morehouse sweetheart. I've been married for 36 years, John Brewer, and I have 2 children. My son's 29, lives in New York, and my daughter is a junior in college, and she's in California.
Well, thank you for sharing. Talk about Spelman for just a moment, maybe kind of a 2-part. Like one, like what, thinking about your upbringing and your living mission, like, why Spelman, I guess? And then another part of that question is, clearly it had a major impact as you've stayed engaged, including chairing Spelman. So talk about that too. Why is Spelman continue to be so important to you?
Yeah, so I came to Spelman. So first of all my siblings went to schools in Michigan. It's great schools there. But I really wanted to get away. I had, visited my grandparents in the South, and it resonated with me. Also, too, I had applied to only 2 colleges, Lawrence Tech, an engineering school in Detroit, and Spelman College. And so it was an easy choice to between those 2. But I think I set my parents up, right? So I was like, oh, Lawrence Tech or Spelman? So they were like, okay, it's Spelman. So I won that battle. But I also thought, the chance to be among people that look like me and probably had the same energy as I did, was really compelling for me. But really, when I got to Spelman, it helped me learn the diversity within the diversity, because we are, we're a broad breadth of people. And I learned that at Spelman. And I didn't actually really understand that quite well when I grew up in Detroit. I saw different Black folks, but this gave me a broad range of people from all over the world. And then Spelman exposed me to the world. And so I chose it from a geography standpoint, from the environment I wanted to be in, but my commitment just grew from being there. I got engaged with so many different organizations there, and Spelman is a place where you cannot leave there without developing your whole self, because first of all, one of your Spelman sisters is going to lean over next to you and say, did you really do that? Or did you really say that? Or you can't do this, or you can't do that. And they hold you highly accountable. So mutual accountability is big in the Spelman sisterhood. And then you just want to do well for them and by them. And it's a prideful moment when your Spelman sister can look at you and say, you've done good. And that felt good when I was there as a student. And then I was engaged because I stayed in Atlanta. My first opportunity was with Kimberly Clark. I was based in Roswell, Georgia. So I was still, in close proximity to the college. So I have always been, financially driven to help the college out. And then I got a chance in 2006 to become a trustee of the college. And at the time, it was just, it was an exciting time. Dr. Tatum was there, and it was everything I did. So I dropped all of my other nonprofit work, to be honest with you, except for what was aligned to my job, to be honest with you. And I just dove in at Spelman, and then I became chair of the board, and I served the board for 17 years, and I was chair of the board for 12 years, and Spelman has been the #1 HBCU for 17 years. So it's a best work. And I just retired last May, and I cried like a baby. I tell you what, because I would leave that corporate setting, and when we have 3 meetings a year, first one is in October. I don't think I've probably ever missed one meeting, because when you leave the corporate environment and then you can switch back and get on Spelman's campus and get that juice, There's nothing like that juice. I could walk off that campus that next Monday morning, regardless of what happened that week, then I was back in my corporate office. Spelman lifted me. It lifted me tremendously, and I needed it. I needed Spelman more than Spelman needed me. And it was part of my system. You know, it was in my blood, and it remains that till forever. It'll always be there.
Well, the kind of a next question, because you went to Spelman for folks that looked like you. Clearly, you spoke of the energy it gave you, and as you became a top executive at Walgreens, at Sam's Club, at Starbucks, you were around folks that didn't look like you.
Correct.
And so talk about some of the challenges in that position. I think, and this was an interesting part we want to ask you, is also because there's not just how you did that, but how you projected the confidence that you needed to be, because you were in these top leadership
Yeah, so John, you make a good point. I left an environment where everyone looked like me, and then into a multicultural environment and white male dominated. And I will tell you that what it helped me do was I was so grounded, unwavering about who I was. I absolutely knew who I was. I knew what I was made of. A lot of self-awareness. I knew what I was good at and what I wasn't good at. And I was able to develop strong teams around me because of that. And then I was able to create sort of a leadership momentum around authenticity, because I always showed up the same. Like the way probably I am here is the way I am most places, And I think that garnered trust amongst people who didn't look like me. And then when things got tough, I probably was the one who had a lot of staying power, because I had been grounded through my upbringing. And so these corporate jobs are tough. And, some people haven't been through the trenches. Right. And I had. And, I recently had a conversation with someone. They said, well, how would you describe your background? Because the way I would describe it is that truly tested, right? And I said, oh, that's kind of interesting, right? Because, I've been through, so let me back up and say that when you come in as an African-American progressing leader through corporate, you are going to get the crap jobs. I've had all of the crap jobs you can think of. So in those crap jobs, I've had to do turnarounds. So then after a while, people started telling me, oh, you're a turnaround queen. I said, oh, okay, well then I'm a turnaround queen, right? Because I got the crap. And so, but it made me learn how to rebuild an organization, how to inspire the people around you in tough times and tough environments, because they didn't have the inspiration or the foresight prior. And I always had to inspire hope. And so the part of my DNA as a leader is to create a vision and a strategy and mobilize people to do their best work and be willing to walk through that wall, because there's a wall. And so sometimes that's hard when you're an African-American leader, but then it's also welcoming, because I've been in some big environments. So, working for Walmart, the largest corporation in the world, living in Bentonville, Arkansas for 5 of my 10 years there, you have to reach out to people. And I think I allowed people to get to know me. And it built sort of a mutual peer respect. And I think that's when I began to see my career progress. The more I was grounded in who Roz was, the more people rallied behind my leadership.
Well, just thinking as you were given these crap jobs, how did you, and I can imagine, sometimes the way you might have been treated, how did you not develop bitterness? Like, how did you stay your authentic?
Yeah, I don't like negativity. That is such I learned early on, because first of all, I started off very insecure in my roles. I remember when I first joined my first company, Kimberly-Clark, I never thought my voice mattered. I'd be sitting in the back room and people are answering my questions about my part of my responsibility. And, after a while, I just got angry, and I was just like, I started blurting out answers. I was like, why did I scream like that? And so, but, it was part of me like, ooh, I'm mad at myself. Not so much, the environment can hold you down only as far as you allow it to. And so after a while, I started getting angry with myself. Well, I started off angry with the environment. I was like, no, this is about you. You did the work. You knew it. They looked at you. You didn't answer. That's your fault. So but the way for me to do it, I just started blurting out. But then there were people who saw that I kind of knew something and would then call my name. Well, Roz, what do you think? And I'd be like, wow, they said my name. There's somebody knows me. They noticed me, right? But it was because I started blurting out and opening up, but I didn't feel good about myself until somebody would speak my name, because you just want to be seen and heard, right? I didn't need a big star on my forehead. I didn't need anybody to come, bring me my coffee. I just wanted somebody to see that that's my work. I did it, right? And so I got around that, and then I began to get sponsorship from people who pulled me through, and I needed it. And I think that's, part of what allowed me to begin to progress and move on in my career.
Now, thank you. Maybe we'll do one more question, and we'll open it up to the audience, but especially for the women in the audience today, who for women that are still very much a male-dominated environment, as I sit here and lead these questions. So
it's okay, John. You're doing the right work, though.
What would you, for women, struggling to work and what can be more of a male-dominated, what advice would you have?
So, for women, I would say first and foremost, try your best never to assimilate, right? And I know it might be hard because you're likely going to be the only one in the room, and you'll pick up skill sets and little tactics, and even you'll start speaking some language that's not your natural language just to, fit in. Fight that fight, and as best as you can, look at your best qualities and try and bring them forward, and feel okay about it. And when they're rejected, which they will be rejected at some point, then you make the decision that, maybe this isn't the right place for me, and find your space, right? Because there's a space there, for sure. But give it a good try, but try your darndest not to assimilate, because as soon as you try and lead a team and they realize that, okay, Roz, I need you to take, let's all get together and take this, this proposal to the Hill, right? Let's get it all the way through the organization. And my team would count on me to do that. But if they see that I go in that room and acquiesce and walk out without the deal, they're going to stop following me. So you have to, people have to know who you are, so that they can count on you to lead them and get the job done and get these decisions over the hill. They know what you're up against. But once you start assimilating, you've given up the card. And if you find yourself going there, you will go there. Pull back. Just keep pulling back into your center. Now that center, if we can talk about that for a little while, is that I find that some young women that I mentor don't spend enough time in the self-awareness mode. What am I good at? What am I not good at? Because we're not perfect. Some of us have a very, what I would say, siloed experience or profession. And so you know that about yourself. And if you want to expand, then who are you going to wrap around you, right? How are you going to build the people around you? Not even if you don't run a team. Let's say you have nobody working for you and you're with someone. Who are you going to kind of buddy up to say, I need to learn how you know all these financial things. Teach me the financial metrics. Teach me, insurance. Teach me all these different things. And people will, peer mentor, and you do the same thing. So, but what I say is just try and go in there and fight every day to be who you are, but make sure you know who you are so that you can be consistent. People can count on you.
So stay true to yourself.
Stay true to yourself.
Well, thank you. We'll transition to some questions. So raise your hand. I don't know if we'll be able to get to everyone. Mike, we brought you in kind of in the spirit of when she said, make sure we know who each other is. Why don't you give your name when you start to, right before you ask the question. So someone is bringing a mic to a first raised, is it here? Okay.
Sorry. Thanks so much. My name is Eric.
Hi, Eric.
I really love the way you spoke about your experience at Spelman and the sort of eye-opening aspect of it. I'm from Chicago before here, and I felt that. I don't talk about it that much, but that was one of the things that attracted me here, that you could feel in the air that Black folks didn't need to represent a monolith, and there was something really special about the organic, quirky, broad, complicated space here as a result of that, for whatever reason, whatever the dynamics were. Do you feel like that is still the case, that Atlanta is almost unique in its ability to create that space, or is that something that is growing across the country?
So Eric, we just talked about this, John, this morning about actually Chicago versus Atlanta, since I live downtown Chicago. Let me just say, Atlanta is unique and it remains unique in that way. I've been in a lot of cities and I've not seen such strong blending, collaboration between people that don't look alike. And it goes from, I mean, you can go to the best ballrooms in Atlanta and they're mixed. You can go to the smallest communities in Atlanta and they're mixed because everybody believes in Atlanta, right? And they have a common effort and goal and love for this city. And I'm telling you, I've lived in a lot of metropolitan cities and I've lived in cities that have had a lot of strife, like Seattle. Whoa. Seattle and Portland, around the time of George Floyd, let me tell you, that city split up and they ran for the hills when all of that happened. I mean, it was like, drop a bomb and it goes. Everybody ran in different directions and just went ballistic. And if you look at Seattle now, between 2019 and now, the city is tore down. And they did not know how to rebuild. That would absolutely never happen in Atlanta. I know it, because there's people like me that will show up and other people that would say, this ain't happening in Atlanta, right? This is just not gonna happen. There are other cities that never had a grounding like Atlanta has. So I feel so strongly, this is why I've never fully moved myself out of Atlanta. I just can't do it. I keep coming back. I just keep coming back, right? And I've always heard people like, I thought you lived in Seattle. I thought you lived in Bentonville. I thought you lived in Chicago. It's like, I work one place, I live another place, right? And that was hard because I had to negotiate that, right? But I did it because I believe in what you're alluding to, is that Atlanta is a very unique place in that way, which is why when Dan said, would you be here this morning? I was like, absolutely. I'm not doing anything else. I'm telling you guys, if people are calling me to speak, I'm not doing it. This one, 6 a.m., I was up and ready.
All right, thank you. I think we got the next
Can
question.
we grab her in the hat right here? Because she did pop up really fast.
Well, maybe we'll do him.
Oh,
and then,
yes. Okay, please.
Then Tracy will do you next.
Yes, I just want to make sure. Yes.
Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Morehouse, right?
Absolutely.
Yes.
And you said you had a son that's 29.
Yes.
Did he go to Morehouse? Oh, no,
that's his father's. No. My husband went to Morehouse. That's his father's fault. He didn't go to Morehouse.
Okay, no problem. No, I was, because he would have been in my class. I'm 29 as well. So.
Yes.
Whole point being, in your experience, and I'm also from Seattle, so like.
Oh wow, you know what I'm talking about, right? Yes.
No. A lot of stuff happened during COVID. Whole point being, 2 questions. Number 1, having that CEO walk, right? It's not easy. My question to you is, what are 2 things that you feel like you really learned that separated you? And then also, what are some of the questions you're asking yourself now? I'm transitioning
Really
out of that
questions.
space, going into the next one.
Sure. So I think the 2 things that separated me and prepared me to be CEO is that I have done the work. And when I say that, when I talk about, I'm going to take you from the crap jobs. Those crap jobs I had to build a lot. So I'm a builder. I grow businesses, and I've had success at it. That's the first thing. The second thing is that I have brought people along with me, along the journey. And I've made sure that I develop people. I want to be known for that person that gave someone that uncustomary role that took them to the next level. And for me, that was personal gratification to look back and around me and see people grow, but it became every legacy I've left at every company was, who did she develop? That was important to me. Now, what am I thinking about next? I know exactly what I don't want to do anymore. And I know the environments that I want to be in. Right now I am first and foremost rebuilding relationships that I've left behind because I've been too busy. I'm being very intentional about that. The second thing is I'm thinking about a better blend of community and a day job, a better blend of it. I don't want a side job anymore of the community. So you'll see something that it's a little bit more balanced from me.
Thank you. All right, Tracy?
My name is Tracy Bates, and I'm going to try to be brief. One, you're very inspiring, and when
Thank
you
you.
did the same house lecture, can y'all hear me now? Okay, I can talk louder because I'm just very excited and trying to be as humble as I can be because you're inspiring. Number one, same house lecture was wonderful. I wouldn't have known you otherwise. Two, so keep doing public appearances. But anyway, two, you're connected and you remain connected with Atlanta. So maybe there's a possibility you will be here and we'll make the impression that you want to make on this community, the Atlanta community.
Thank you.
As I always challenge John, Dan, Kathy, and others, there is a gap from what's being done and what needs to be done. And I'm concerned. Well, I would like to hear your opinion about what the gap is, because I challenge people, myself included, to always do more.
Yeah, so, I'm re-educating myself with the current Atlanta. But from my purview, I am a bit concerned about affordable housing, first and foremost, and second is the quality of education in K through 12 public schools in Atlanta. And I see that as I go to different cities and I hire people to come into the city that I'm living in. And the two questions they ask me, where are my kids gonna go to school? And can I afford to live in this city? And that ranges from somebody who we're hiring for an entry-level job all the way up to executive, right? They even wanna know, are my kids gonna be in the right environment? And for Atlanta to be a long-term viable, sustainable city, we've got to figure those two things out. I think if I could compliment Atlanta, I think the healthcare part of it is done well. So people do, that's the third question that you get asked. And so I'm telling you from what I hear across the country. And so they're asked about healthcare. And I think healthcare, let's say Atlanta does well there. Grady being top at, the trauma center, right? But then I would tell you those other two pieces, there's a gap there. And I see it as I compare Atlanta to other cities.
Good morning. I'm Reverend Leroy Wright, proud father of 2 Spelman graduates and a Morehouse man. My question is a little different.
Mm-hmm.
How did you juggle the moving, the career management, your husband, and pregnancy and the children on your way up?
Yeah, that was, oh, wow. Okay, Rev, you got me on that one. Let me just say, I have had a lot of titles, but I know this sounds quirky, but my most treasured title is mom. And I tell you what, my kids, it is so funny how you go full circle. And that is something that when I would take every moment I could to be with my family. And that's why I sometimes would move ahead of them. So like when I moved to Seattle, my son was away at college, my daughter was still here. It wasn't a good idea to move her, but I came back and forth. I flew back from Seattle every Friday and then went back Sunday night or Monday morning because she needed me, right? And the company was complaining and I was like, if you don't like it, do something about it. So, but if you like my work and my daughter is loving me, and that's it. So I made some sacrifices that some people don't see. Like I probably could have attended a lot more glorious events. I didn't do any of that kind of stuff, right? I didn't do a lot of the outings because that was my family time. And I made sure that people understood how important family was to me and trade-offs. The other thing is just having the conversations with my family about what this life was going to be like. It did allow me to expose my children to change. And change is really good if it's, if you can keep it progressive and it's positive and inform your family about things. So we would have a lot of deep talks about why is mom doing this? And, even now, so this week I was in New York. I had a meeting up until like 9 o'clock, 9:45, my son knocks on the door. stays on my couch till 1 o'clock in the morning. We talk girlfriend, we talk grad school, we talked his current job. Before that, we had been through half a bottle of wine together, But, mothering never changes. And it's moments like that that I'm reminded that along the way, I left some good chips. And I didn't sacrifice my family as much as I was heartburning over the time. But it was about trade-offs. About the extracurricular things that I chose not to do and stay close to my family. And I had a great husband who decided to delay his career too, so that's the other thing. So he, when I tell you stay-at-home dad for a period of time in his career, he did the thing, he really did. We decided how we wanted to raise our kids, education first. My kids were double athletes and he was there for them. So it took both of us.
Hi, Roz, Liz from Girl Scouts.
Hey, Liz.
I just have to say you are an absolute trailblazer in so many respects, from being a woman in STEM to being a woman in the C-suite. There's a lot of talk about gender equity, gender parity, but girls are still underrepresented in STEM. Only 1.8 of all philanthropic support goes to women and girls organizations. And for the first time ever in the history of the Forbes 500, women CEO representation finally got to 10%. So what can we do as a collective to ensure that girls are getting the same leadership opportunities, that girls are going into the STEM pipeline, that girls are going into C-suite and leadership positions? How can we invest in the future? And I think you gave some really beautiful examples of how you were able to tackle that, but what can we do as a collective?
Sure. So, it's great to see organizations like Girl Scouts to migrate to even talk about STEM, right? Because when I was a Girl Scout, it was more about, we did a lot of fun things, but never did it get to that point. I will tell you that one is to give these young women the confidence that they can do it, because once they get in the corporate world, they're going to get shaken by that, right? Their confidence is going to be shaken, but let's build them up very early on and challenge them to do those things. What I'm enjoying seeing is a number of summer camps that are coming up that are just in math and science. And when we moved to Bentonville, Arkansas, I put my daughter in a school for math and science. And when she came back to Atlanta, her capabilities were just through the roof. And so we need to continue to encourage and find those programs and initiatives and get these young women in there, because it makes a difference. That field is wide open for women right now at all levels. It's underserved, and we've got to start early to get them along, and it starts with building their confidence in that space.
Absolutely, thank you.
All right, I think we have time for one more question.
So Totha's going to make a quick comment and then one more question.
Okay.
Right. Just wanted to connect the dots. Good to see you, Roz.
Good
For
to see
those
you too.
West Side residents in particular in the room, and those who are invested in the West Side's growth and continued development, honoring the legacy that Roz has the opportunity. She serves on many boards, but I get the honor and the privilege of working with her. She serves on the board of our foundation at the Blank Foundation. And so she is deeply invested in West Side work, particularly she spoke about housing affordability. And so I just wanted to make sure that folks in the room were aware of that, outside of course, your Spelman commitment, which is physically located on the West Side, that you are engaged in a whole different way for the cause of the people.
That's right. I've been involved for probably more than 5 to 7 years with Bill Bowling, who's back there, as well as a trustee of the foundation. Thank you for reminding me and bringing up that great comment. Thank you.
Ms. Brewer, thank you so much for sharing your story. Very inspirational. There are several things that you said that are music to my ears. One was self-awareness, authenticity, and voice. As a woman who works to empower young girls, and hearing you illustrate your magnanimous professional climb, how important is knowing who you are as it relates to youth development and your mentoringship experiences?
On a scale of 1 to 10, if that would be helpful, I say it ranks pretty high. It's that 8 kind of level on a scale of 1 to 10. And I say that because you're going to get told who you are a lot of times. And you've got to sit quietly in a mirror and say, does that really reflect who I am? Do I like what I'm hearing? Do I understand that? Do I know that to be true? Is it a perception or is it a reality? And I'll give you an example. All of us have had evaluations, your job evaluations. And sometimes you kind of give off an air of something. And you may not even realize you're doing that. But that perception becomes reality over a while. And you've got to sit with yourself as an example and say, but I know I'm better than that. Or I'm willing to improve that. Or someone has given me some feedback that I need to deal with, right? And I think we need to deal with it. And sometimes it may not be the truth of who you are internally, but there's something that you're doing that is giving off that reflection, right? So it is something that I say takes time to get comfortable with, to evaluate, do I want to put that in my ethos? They said I was X. What am I doing to project that? Because it's some, they said it, right? So what are you going to do about it? But I don't think that we spend enough time just sitting quietly saying, what did I do to get that kind of feedback, right? And then it makes you self-evaluate. Every time I get an evaluation, I listen intensely, because sometimes, back to the question about being a parent. Sometimes I was bringing my parent hat on. You got thrown up on in the morning and you got to change clothes before you get there. You get to the room every morning and you're yelling at your team, right? And so then your team will give a 360 feedback, she's abrasive, right? And so then I have to say, well, I'm not abrasive. I love my team. What? How'd you say that? I'm feeling so good about everybody. How am I abrasive? I was bringing my home crap to work, right? And so I had to fix that because that wasn't who I was. So that's why I'm saying self-awareness is so important, because it will begin to project and come out in ways that you never imagined when you try and interact amongst different people, different crowds, different kind of individuals.
Well, I think we're about at a time, but I want to, clearly the way you conduct yourself here this morning, you model what you advise, and your authenticity clearly just is so strong, and your thoughtfulness of your answers, and the candor of your answers. So let's give her a big round of applause to thank her for.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. Oh, wow. Thank you. Thank you. It's really nice.
Thank you. Yes. So we're going to do. As Roz walks down, we're going to do two things. The first thing is we're going to do a drawing, two drawings for two gift certificates that Ebony is going to talk about. So we're going to do the two drawings really quickly. And then to wind up our Transform Westside Summit, we've had to go far and wide to find a trumpet player. We've worked hard to find a trumpet. We had to put up an advertisement, but we found a trumpet player who will lead us in a holiday song to depart our Transform Westside Summit. We're going to do the gift drawing, and then we're going to be led by Dan, Kathy, in a holiday song. So real quick on the drawing.
Yes, I will go quickly so we can get to the good part. Come on up, Dan. Come on, yes. Okay, so again, as promised, we do have two gift card giveaways today. First one, Home Depot Foundation. The winning red ticket number is 399-1192. Again, that's the red ticket, 399-1192. 399, well, okay. We're going to get a picture at the end, okay? I'll come back and find you. Congratulations. All right, next gift card giveaway, Goodwill of North Georgia. They put people to work, as Charles Merriweather said back here a little bit earlier. The winning blue ticket number is 130817. 130817. Okay, you guys, please, I may lose you in the crowd, but just come to the front and you'll get your cards, okay? I'm going to get out of the way. All right, Dan, take it away.
We're ready. Well,
all right, we're ready. Here we go, folks. So I'm going to invite all of my Chick-fil-A family to come up and join us here. So Miss Anna Shrews, that you've already heard from this morning, and Savannah, Darrell, come on up. Ross, Carol, come on up here. Who else we got? We got Carol Waddy. I saw her here this morning. Carol, where are you? This is the Chick-fil-A choir going to sing. Everybody stand up if you would. We're going to do Joy to the World. And let's sing it like we really want to bring joy to the world. Isn't that not one of our challenges that we have here at Westside Summit, is to bring joy to the world, is it not? And so let's sing like that, and then we'll do wish you a Merry Christmas. So here we go. And you got to join me here. Let's have some singing. Here's the intro. Everybody jump in. Here we go.
The Lord is come. Let earth receive her King. Let every other power and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing, and heaven and nature sing.